Welcome to the Bharatiya Janata Podcast special segment. In this segment, we will cover the recent topical stories that made news in India. This is Mann Jun Ki Baat. With Ramayana themed interiors and bhajans playing on board, the railway's next edition of the Ramayana Express, a train which takes pilgrims to locations associated with Lord Ram and will give passengers the feel of being on a temple on wheels, will be launched, a senior official said on Friday. The train is likely to be launched after March 10th, Railway Board Chairman V.K. Yadav said, adding that its annual schedule will be released in the coming week. We talked to the first group of passengers planning to take the epic journey. They mentioned that they're especially looking forward to see the Ravan Dahan at the end, where Ravan, they're told, would be made out of real taxpayers' money on fire. Additionally, there's also a proposal by the Finance Ministry to run a Titanic-themed cruise ship. Nirmala Sitharaman said, "We want to kickstart the economy by hitting it repeatedly with irony." Seat number 64 of coach B5 in Kashi Mahakal Express, Varanasi Indore, has been turned into a mini temple of Lord Shiva. The train was flagged off by Prime Minister Narendra Modi via a video conference. Railway officials say that efforts will be made to keep the seat number 64 of coach B5 in Kashi Mahakal Express reserved for Lord Shiva. The seat has been turned into a mini temple of Lord Shiva. Meanwhile, seat number 69 of the extra sleeper coach SEX on this train will need to be reserved. Like any other normal seat, you perverted fucks thinking about just one thing and one thing. This is India. We don't have sex here. We pray. AAP won a convincing majority in the recently concluded Delhi state elections. Saurabh Bhardwaj, AAP MLA, commented on the news. As BJP goes all out in their mission to establish a Hindu Ram Raj in India, I'm sure AAP will fight them tooth and nail to make sure that they don't miss on adding Hanumanji's name in the mix. Divorce cases are more in educated and affluent families because with education and affluence comes arrogance, as a result of which families fall apart, said RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat in his recent speech. He also added, all you people out there listening to this podcast and hoping to get that sweet, sweet RSS pracharak booty, stop. Just stop. How dare you be educated? Hashtag Beti Padhao limit mein. A 2017 video of Sadhguru surfaced where he's heard saying, when a woman delivers twins, one breast will produce one type of milk and the other will produce other type of milk. To add, when a man ejaculates from his left nut, a boy is born, and from the right, it's a girl. Some days, however, a man should just sleep and not ejaculate at all, because those days, Jackie is born. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a 63-feet statue of former Bharatiya Janata Sangh leader Deen Dayal Upadhyay in Varanasi. When we asked the local Varanasi residents the contribution of Deen Dayal Upadhyay in India's history, they compared it to the contribution of nipples in a man's body and pointed to a picture of Chakki Vasudev. A Hawala operator and 7 Indian Navy sailors based in Visakhapatnam, Karwar and Mumbai have been arrested for passing on critical information to Pakistan in a case of entrapment on social media by agents posing as women interested in them. The names of the arrested are Satish Mishra, Deepak Trivedi, Pankaj Iyer, Sanjeet Kumar, Sanjay Tripathi, Bablu Singh, Vikas Kumar, Rahul Singh, Sanjay Rawat, Dev Gupta, Rinku Tyagi, Rishi Mishra, Ved Ram. Does this mean anything to you? I, for one, don't see anything that is common among all these gentlemen. They are as diverse as it gets, except that they were part of a WhatsApp group called Bro Jobs for Fawad. I fear anti-Muslim prejudice is in Modi's DNA, said Tavleen Singh in a recent interview. She has finally figured out that Modi ji perhaps does not like Muslims. Other things that Tavleen auntie has just recently figured out: gravity, water cycle, how good the wire was. Kyoto is an anagram of Tokyo. The one thing she's still unaware of is her privilege though. After the recent Jamia violence, local goon and fantasy MLA Tajinder Bagga tweeted, I am with Delhi police. However, we are still waiting on the pre-wedding pictures. On the same subject, BJP IT cell lead Amit Malviya said, India spends around rupees 3 lakh to educate one student in Jamia. And what do we get in return? Riots? And then added for emphasis, I can make a rioter for much less, amidst the chants of Goli Maro Saloko. Finally, a young 19-year-old girl interrupted an Owaisi rally to chant Pakistan Zindabad, Hindustan Zindabad, Bangladesh, you get the drift. The girl now is facing a sedition case filed against her by the world's largest democracy. And in relation to that news, I just wanted to talk of some of the other pivotal moments in the history of this nation. Organizer, the RSS magazine, in its issue of August 14, 1947, said, the tricolour will never be respected and owned by the Hindus. The word three is in itself an evil, and a flag having three colours will certainly produce a very bad psychological effect and is injurious to a country. In December 1940, when Gandhi had launched the Satyagraha for Quit India, RSS leaders met the Secretary of the Home Department and promised the Secretary to encourage members of the Sangh to join the civic guards in greater numbers. The civic guards were set up by the imperial government as one of the special measures for internal security. There is still not a single publication or document of the Sangh which could throw some light on the great work the RSS did indirectly for the Quit India movement in 1942. According to Savarkar's collected works in Hindi, Samagra Savarkar Vangumay, published by Hindu Mahasabha in 1963, the fraternal organization of RSS, Hindu Mahasabha, led by the Hindutva icon V.D. Savarkar, went to the extent of running coalition governments with Muslim League in Bengal and Northwest Frontier provinces in 1942, when Congress was under ban and patriotic Indians were being shot dead for daring to carry the tricolour. In Bengal, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee was deputy CM in the Muslim League ministry. Hindu Mahasabha also organized recruitment camps for the British Army in India when Subhash Chandra Bose was trying to liberate India militarily. RSS has never expressed opposition to these activities of Hindu Mahasabha. Where's the punchline to this joke, you ask? You, my friend, are the punchline. And with that, we conclude our first episode of Mann Jun Ki Baat.